So welcome to episode 2 of We Are Teachers, You Can't Scare Us. This time we're going to be talking about The Nun 2, which I have appropriately named I'm Sorry for the Things I Did When I Was Possessed. Right? I mean, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Did
That's
I
our
say funnier?
subtitle of the episode.
I mean, there might have been
out?
an expletive, but if we're going for a general audience, we can scratch the expletive.
Because I feel like at the end he apologized
Yeah.
for a lot of things. I'll say he for now so we don't spoil it. But
spoiler alert.
There were some apologies that I feel like were unnecessary given that he was possessed. So I feel like that's just a write-off.
Yeah.
Oh.
So when you're possessed, you get a pass.
Yeah, just like
Yes.
possession card.
Yeah.
I was possessed. My bad.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think it's superfluous to apologize for
Yeah.
what you did when you were possessed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're possessed,
Get out of
possession.
jail free.
That's it. Get out of jail free.
So this is the second installment, right, of the original Nun, which is a part of the Conjuring series. So if you're familiar with that, this falls right in line chronologically with the Nun, right? The Nun 2 comes after
Yes.
the Nun.
Yeah.
Do you want to give us a little rundown of...
Okay, so spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the movie, you're probably not going to want to listen if you want to go and see it, because we're going to spoil everything for you in the next few minutes. So
You could
And-
hit
stop
pause
listening
and
now.
come back.
I didn't see The Nun.
Okay.
So, I mean, I told you, I said
that's
that
right, you did
when
say
we
that.
got to the theater.
Here's a teacher who didn't do her
And
homework,
you
everyone.
gave me a real look. So probably 90% of the time I had zero clue what was going on prior to the movie. I hung in there.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I will say, I do think this movie, if you did not see The Nun, maybe go and see that too before The Nun 2.
But don't tell Gwenna.
But
I won't be happy with
No.
you.
I do think this movie could stand alone, though. If you did not see The Nun, I think they do give you a little bit of backstory, that it's not totally, a
Yes.
waste. But definitely, if you see The Nun, you will have a deeper, I think, maybe appreciation. So go see The Nun.
So I had a surface level appreciation for
The Nun was
too.
actually pretty terrible, but
Yeah.
this is a continuation directly, so there are a lot of characters and things that are going on that if you didn't see The Nun would be confusing. Also, I'm Gwenna.
Oh, I'm Melissa. I'm sorry. I'm the one that didn't do my homework.
I'm Allie. Great to be back.
Yes, welcome to our show. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to go through a quick summary of the movie, and then
Perfect.
we're going to talk about some things that we liked and some things that we didn't. And then, like in teacher fashion, we're going to give it a grade,
Sounds good
because that's
to
what
me.
we love to do.
Got my red pen.
All right, so it starts with this little boy and this priest doing some stuff with wine for a church, and there is some demon shenanigans, and the priest ends up self-immolating. Or so
Does that
it
mean he was
seems.
on fire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he was on fire.
Nobody set him on fire, he just became on fire.
He combusted.
Yeah, self-combustion.
Self-combust.
Yes. And you just learned a new vocab word, so thank you, Gwenna.
Do you want to say that again?
Say that again for our audience, yeah.
Immolation.
Excellent.
Yes.
Catching
down.
fire of oneself
Yes, without
without
the use of
fuel.
without fuel. Essentially, you're the fuel, but it just
Spontaneous combustion.
spontaneously happens.
Was he levitating too?
A
Yeah,
little
he got
bit.
pulled
Little
up, so
levitation.
we knew something was going on there.
Yeah.
And
So-
they were in the chapel when that happened.
That's
so.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the little boy escapes. Bye. And then it jumps forward, and we reunite with Sister Irene, and she's at a new convent now. And apparently, Sister Deborah is giving the mother, sister, is that what they're called?
Mother Superior?
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
Ooh, it makes me think of my favorite nuns.
You have
Giving
favorite
her
nuns?
some issues.
Yeah, like The Sound of Music, Maria,
Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg, Sister Act.
Right. Shout out
Shout
to
out to-
Allie's husband, who thought that's what we were seeing.
A sequel.
Thought that, Whoopi would be great in this, but
I
she's
have
not
to,
in it.
I
He
have
thought
to
we were
assume
seeing
he was
Sister Act
trying to
too.
be funny.
Oh.
Let's give him that. Let's-
I support that. So we catch up with Sister Irene, and it's been some time since she and the father from the nun, who I don't remember his name. I didn't do my homework either.
I Father Burke.
Thank you. Father Burke
yeah.
got rid of Valak, the demon who looked like a nun. But so we catch up with them. Sister Deborah's giving everyone some issues, so Sister Irene talks to her, and we meet Sister Deborah. And then this is where they place in the backstory of what happened during the Nun. So really, if you didn't see it, they tell us what happens again. But I think that we would agree that seeing it would be your best bet if you're going to see this.
Right. I don't know if you caught it, but in the convent, they're having a little side conversation. One of the other nuns there is talking about this thing that happened in, I think it was Romania, where the first nun was set. Currently, Sister Irene is in Italy. The thing that happened to the priest that combusted, that's France. So Europe.
Well,
so
our
they do give a little
teacher,
backstory there,
yes.
just saying kind of what happened. And then we also find out that Father Burke dies at some point. He's not alive anymore.
Yeah, and he dies natural causes.
Yeah.
He gets the
cholera
plague,
or something like that.
Plague, something bad.
I literally missed all of that. But I mean, I'm good now.
Okay.
That makes a lot more sense. We should have had a sidebar, maybe pause the movie, but not possible. Also, when did it take place? Because remember, we had this conversation at the very end. I thought it was the 1500s. And then there was electricity. And I was like, this is really bad already.
She also didn't read when it said across the screen where we were and the time period.
I saw France. I swear it said 1556.
No,
1956.
Okay.
1956.
Which made a lot more sense.
Yes.
When the light bulbs. But you know what? I will say, and I'll digress. At first, it made sense because everywhere was very dark all the time.
It was.
Okay?
It was.
You're not wrong.
And no one ever had a flashlight. And I'm like, listen.
A lot of alleyways.
But a flashlight.
Not developed.
Maglite? No Maglights yet. But regular flashlights.
Do nuns have pockets?
Do you need a pocket to have a flash? I feel
Well,
like
the invention of the pocket only happened during a certain time frame, so.
Not 1556.
But that is also not the
I'm
setting
just
of
saying.
the
Crazy
movie.
details, right, that you have to think of when you're making a movie.
Just
You
saying,
have
a
to
lot of
think
people
beyond.
could have had more lights, and they
It's-
would have
They did.
fared a little
Very
bit better.
dark.
It was very dusty.
Yeah.
It was very dark.
Dark. I do appreciate, though,
And
the
Europe,
setting.
you never know. It could be 1956. It could be 1556. Europe is really
It's the
pretty
same.
old.
That's right. And it looks exactly the same.
True.
But the cobblestone, I love that. The cobblestone and the rain and the sound. I thought that was really good.
The setting.
I enjoyed
The setting,
That's
yes.
right. The setting. I enjoyed the setting.
We'll tuck that in your pocket to pull out when
For
we
later.
talk about our likes.
That's right. Okay.
Yep. So let's go back to what was happening.
Right. Reverse.
We're gonna take you back, okay?
Okay.
So this father comes and he says that there are some demon shenanigans happening across Europe. And he needs Sister Irene. He figured out that it's probably Valak again. And Sister Irene's the only one who's left who faced this demon. And so he says it started in Romania, and she realizes at that time that it's Frenchie/Maurice who is possessed because he tried to save her in the first movie, and she thought that she got Valak out of him, but it is clear that that has not happened.
And with her second sight, she dreams about him too. So that kind of affirms
That
Frenchie's back.
Yes. So we're just going bare bones here. We'll talk about more of the minutia, the little stuff, when we talk about our likes and dislikes. So they find out. Deborah decides to go with Irene. She was going to go by herself, but Sister Deborah was like, I want an adventure with demons. So she joins her, hides away on the train, and then is like, hey, I'm here to help you fight demons, which is actually a real good friend.
Yeah.
It's a good friend that'll
Super
help you fight
brave.
a demon. So they talk to a guy at the records place for the Vatican or the church. And he says that Valak, it looks like with the path that he's taking, he's after Saint Lucy's eyes, which is another relic. So in the first one, Valak was after a relic of Jesus Christ's blood. In this one, he's after Saint Lucy's eyes. And of course, it's for evil purposes.
To give him all the power.
With
It,
eyes.
all the power.
Yes.
The eyes hold. The eyes of March. But it's not that. I know that.
Yeah. No, it's
The eyes of March.
Or watching you.
In the
That's right.
meantime, while Irene and Deborah are chasing this relic and chasing Valak and Maurice across Europe, Maurice is at a girls' school where things are happening. Girls are mean to each other. That's not shocking. And there's some creepy areas in this school. Maurice is showing that he's possessed, and Valak is wreaking havoc on this girls' school. Eventually, Irene and Deborah catch up, and they find this relic, St. Lucy's eyes, and Valak gets a hold of it. That would be the climactic moment. Is he gets the eyes, he puts them on like jewelry.
Yeah,
I thought they didn't.
So
because his eyes glowed.
The eyes glowed,
Like
and then at that point, Valak, because it's called The Nun, but we don't always see like the spooky nun. But at that point in the movie, when the eyes, he's like full on nun. Like Valak is back, nun. Eyes glowing, and like has all the power now, and is ready to like kick some butt.
So he is hanging out in the air, and he lifts up Sister Irene and tries to set her on fire. But we realize that she is a descendant of Saint Lucy. Sister Lucy.
The
Saint
sight,
Lucy,
the visions
that she has, yeah. And the fact that she can't burn. And so after he gets distracted and drops her, because he's like, well, she's not lighting on fire. I'm tired of this crap. She and Sister Deborah turn the water into wine, which then they believe is Jesus Christ's blood, because if you take the wine in church, that's what you're doing when you do communion and things. And then they spray it all over Valak, and he is defeated again. Or is he? Because it ends with a little credit scene where Ed and Lorraine Warren get the call that they're going to have to depossess Maurice and Frenchie. So we thought that he wasn't possessed anymore, but apparently he still is.
He made like a face at the end. Maurice, he was like
Maurice.
Didn't
I just think he's
that?
really tired. The body of Maurice. I'm gonna call Frenchie like the poor thing, possessed the whole time, and then at the very end, not really, just exhausted. And then he is going to be possessed again, because going back to The Nun, at the end credit scene for that movie, again, there's like a newspaper article about how Lorraine and Ed have to depossess him. So you kind of know like his path is not,
and in
his journey.
The Conjuring, the first one, they start like they're at a school and they show the video of him being possessed, and them either the first or second Conjuring.
I can't remember.
I think it's the first one, and then in the second one is the fear of the nun killing Ed.
Right.
Lorraine sees through her second sight. So,
the sight line, which brings up a lot of questions, but we'll get to those later.
Yeah. So I think now, why don't we talk about like some things that we liked? Start with the good. So, anyone want to?
Well, I'll start.
Take the
go with that. So I've got some notes here because I actually had a lot of likes. I really enjoyed this movie a lot more than The Nun. I thought The Nun, I was very disappointed. I was looking for a lot more jump scares. I think this film had a decent amount of jump scares. I could have a whole movie full of jump scares and would probably still want more. But in terms of likes, the cast, I really liked the cast of this movie. It felt very much like a female-led, driven cast, women fighting against this evil coming together, and the young women at the boarding school, like just being fearless. And, at the end there, when they're running around and they're chasing, being chased by this demon that at one point took the form of some sort of weird like goat,
the goat
terror.
Yeah,
man.
I feel like that's the like religion thing, right? Like, so
it's the religion.
The goat is, I think, bad.
Yes.
Right. So, like in judgment, I think sheep good. Sheep go to heaven. Goats go to hell.
Goats go to hell.
Says cake.
Oh my God, that sounds
right.
great. But yeah, anyways, the casting. Tessa Farmiga, is that how she pronounces her name?
Tessa.
Yeah. She's great. I actually liked her a lot more in this movie than I did in the first Nun. I thought her innocence in the first Nun kind of frankly annoyed me a little bit, but the way she played it here just was great. I really enjoyed her. Again, I mentioned the female cast, and the fact that, they didn't really kill too many characters unnecessarily. Like if they would have harmed one of those young girls at the boarding school, I think I would have had some like major issues, even the ones that kind of were being little craps to each other. So there really was only like one death, and it was of an older cast member, Madame Laurent. So that part, you know, again, the jump scares. But yeah, I just loved this feminine energy combating evil, like coming together at the end. And I also liked the little like foreshadowing with The Conjuring, or not maybe foreshadowing. What do you call that when it's like
the connection? It comes
the
back.
connection, the comeback. And I swear at one point there was a character that was looking down a hallway and it looked like the Warrens' hallway.
It did, yeah.
And that part, I'm like, this is awesome because it's all tying into like
Had you done your homework?
that second.
Well, I don't even know that would have helped, right? Because I haven't seen The Conjuring.
What?
Listen, I'm new to this. I don't know if you've picked up on
I
that.
thought you liked scary movies.
I do, but like,
Where you been?
well, in the first podcast, I had mentioned that my types of scary movies were like the old school ones.
That's
like,
true.
So Friday the 13th, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, right? Those are the ones that like Terrifier
So
1
you
and
were
2.
really on a wild ride of like
Yeah.
demon.
So I
just
think
possession.
maybe we should have a movie
I feel like I
Yeah.
need a
first.
list
And
It's
I
like a
would
whole
definitely
universe.
love
So,
to
like,
go
I
back
need
to
a
the- I would
list
watch all those again.
of things that I need to catch up on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that, and honestly, are you good with the likes?
Well, the only other thing I want to mention, I'm sorry, I'm long-winded today, but was this connection with Irene and her mother, and like this spirit of the mother, again, that feminine energy just coming in to like protect and help and show the way. So yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
Go girl power.
I'm sharing likes now, not my overall feeling.
Right.
Is what you're saying.
Your likes.
Okay,
What did
so,
you like about this movie?
I mean, I'm sorry, this is going to be so. I'm more of I like movies, scary movies that have some humor in them.
Mhm.
I didn't really feel that, but the things I did like, it wasn't funny.
It wasn't a fun.
No,
I
but
thought
it wasn't meant to be. It's not like the stand-up comic, The Nun, who then haunts you.
It wasn't
This was
Sister Act, okay?
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is
but
like
that's what we thought
serious
was
horror
good. It was
here,
funny,
like
you know?
scary horror.
So I don't know. I liked the setting. I thought it was filmed well. I liked. It's tough. I liked that the bullies got theirs.
Yeah, they
That
did.
I'm a big fan. There was a nice drag me to hell moment, right? Remember, she was like,
Yeah.
you know, I enjoyed that. It wasn't my favorite, so I mean, I don't have a lot. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But
This
maybe-
is good.
Maybe
Yeah.
if I would have seen The Nun and this would have been that much better, I could be like, oh, I like this more.
Or any of the other Conjurings as well.
So wait a minute, what do you mean? Any of the other Conjurings?
So there's Conjuring 1 and 2, and those are Ed and Lorraine Warren. And both of them, like the Conjuring 1 is where they show the video of them depossessing Maurice, but I think he ends up dying. I think they talk about how it like his body was like 2. But I honestly, it's been a while
It's
since
been a
I've
while. I
seen
need
it.
to go back and watch the first one.
But then the second one is where the Valak makes an appearance for the first time. And it's
Yeah.
from there that the nun becomes its own thing because of how scary it is. And it's after Ed and Lorraine can see with her sight. So, I mean, it's a whole
And
universe.
it's almost as if Valak is following these two particular. This is
St. Lucy's,
St. Lucy's
ancestors.
Yeah.
Descendants,
So there's a
maybe
lot
I'm
I
Yeah,
jumping
probably
not
ahead of
ancestors,
it.
descendants. Yeah.
I should have probably done that.
Well, here's the thing, though. It's
It's
kind
good.
of
Kids, if any young ones are watching, it is good to do your homework.
Prepare for class.
yeah. It does make things maybe somewhat more enjoyable.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Like, you're right. I probably should have done that first. I just let it go on that. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna make excuses.
But now this sets us up for a really great movie marathon.
For sure.
And including some of the Annabelle,
Yeah.
because those are top too. And
Yes,
they're within
they
the
are.
Conjuring universe. So
Yes. Yeah. And they're really
they're
good.
really good.
Not
I
funny
need
good.
I need like, what are those called? The mind map or something?
A
Yeah.
Venn diagram.
No, the
No.
mapping.
Yeah, like where
Yeah.
you have the offshoots.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
the
what I
mind
need.
mapping. Yep.
We'll map your mind.
Okay.
Well, was that what you had for likes?
I like the cobblestone.
Okay.
I like the
You
rain.
like the setting. You were down.
I
for the
like
setting.
that era, not 1556. But I like that era. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. That was fun. I like the soccer playing. I did. I know it sounds
I
ridiculous.
feel like she's reaching now.
I'm like, I mean, I'll be better at the dislikes.
She was the kid who didn't do their homework, and now in the class is like, the main character had a name, so
And I enjoyed
liked
that. I like that. Why do we have a male spirit taking over a nun? Do we care
Do
about
we know
that?
it's a male spirit?
Well, I don't know. You kept
It
calling
feels,
him he, so
well,
I blame
yeah.
you for that. But
I-
do we care?
I always
Does he
just
have
kind of
like a
assume that
form?
demons.
There is really, if you believe in this stuff, there is really a Valak,
a
but
fallen angel.
but it's not a nun. But so I don't know if you picked up on this in the second one, but they talk about in the first one too. His like shtick, if demons have it, is to bring forth your greatest fear. And so in the first nun, he hid amongst this cloister of nuns at an abbey.
Mhm.
Abbey, as one of them, and used their piety and their greatest fear against them by being this like demon in this. So I guess it's his preferred form. I couldn't get that out from it. To scare others, because you're supposed to like trust nuns, but this one obviously you wouldn't want to.
Okay.
Right.
So what was like his goal? Like, what's he trying to do?
Well, I think he is trying to get these relics to become like all powerful, and then just bring upon hell on earth, and just like kill people and scare them, and
So he needs relics.
Right. And thus far, he has pretty much not had the chance, or it
Much
has
luck.
pretty much, yeah. Sister
Well, if he
Irene
needed-
keeps shutting him down.
If he needed them all, he's toast already.
I don't think he needs them all. I think he just needs one.
one good one.
I see. One good
All you
relic.
need is one good day,
He just
right?
keeps picking a new one. I
Yeah.
got it.
So here's what I liked about the movie, and my likes kind of are more like Allie's and
Symbolism and
right, yeah. So I loved
I'm a
the
math
jump
teacher.
scares.
I just thought I'd interject that.
Anyway, I love the jump scares. That's my favorite part of horror. If I'm jumping out of my seat. And what I really loved about these jump scares is a lot of times you can tell which way they're coming from, so you can prepare.
Mhm.
I couldn't prepare for a lot of these. I didn't know
Agreed.
what way they were coming from. So, for example, the magazine stand moment where Sister Irene is in this dark cobblestone alleyway and she sees this magazine rack that's lit up, and all of a sudden all these magazine pages start moving and it creates an outline of the nun. And so you're like, is it coming from behind her? Is it going to come from the magazines? It's at the left or the right? And like I was trying to
yeah.
prepare myself, but I forget which direction it came.
I
But
don't.
whatever
There
it
no
was,
preparation.
I was not ready.
Nope.
And it made me jump, even though I knew it was going to happen. It's still like the directionality of where these jumps were coming from, you didn't know. And like in the beginning, when the little boy gets the wine from the basement, his ball goes into that dark and it gets kicked back. So you expect Valak or the
Yeah.
demon or Maurice or whoever to come from that dark, and then the wine bottle explodes.
Yeah.
And so I was not prepared for that either. Like I knew something was going to happen, but what I thought was going to happen was not what happened. And for me, that was exceptional
Mhm.
and really elevated this movie. Loved the characters. Yep. Sister Irene. And then Storm Reed played Sister Deborah, and I thought she did a fantastic job. Like I want to be Sister Deborah's friend.
Yeah.
She like had Sister Irene's back. Who's going to be like, yes, let's go up against this demon together.
Yeah.
And she was all in.
And especially at the beginning when they're talking about Sister Deborah having some problems, she is somebody who is questioning her faith. We know that something terrible has happened to her mother, but I don't know if they actually tell us. But her mother is dead, like her mom's passed on. So she's questioning her faith. And there's one point where Sister Irene is telling her, like, you're coming along for this ride. It requires great faith. I hope you find yours when the time comes. And she does. She
Yeah.
does. And she helps so much in the convent, or not the convent, but the boarding school. She goes to protect the young girls that are there. So yeah, stellar character.
And I actually forgot, that she didn't want to be in that convent. Her father had put her there. And so her acting out was like a way for her to be like, I don't know if I want to be here. But then by the end, like she really had a connection with her faith and Sister Irene. And She had to turn that water to wine and
There's
then
that-
to Jesus's blood.
Right. There's that pivotal point where she's witnessing legitimately, what's that word again?
Immolation.
Immolation. I almost said emulsion, but that's like blending. She didn't want to use that.
IMM, immolation.
And she's like, when Irene falls down, Valak gets mad, or Deborah's like, oh my gosh, that's a miracle. Like you
should have burned.
You should be dead. Like you should no longer exist. So I think that gives them the little surge that they need to turn that water into wine.
True.
And
the secondary characters were awesome. The mom and her daughter at this boarding school, the Mean Girls, because that's relatable. I mean, right? I also liked the Mean Girls getting theirs when the goat punctures her shoulder. She didn't die, but she had some pain and some scares. And it was like, well, that's karma.
Yeah.
In this case, Karma was not a cat. Karma was a goat and the goat's horn.
Yes.
So
not purring in your lap.
Right. I also
Impaling your shoulder.
Right. Yeah, Karma is a goat impaling your shoulder and scaring the bejesus out of you.
She could have had something with that line. Tay-Tay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, take it if you want.
She missed it,
T-Swift.
but it's yours from us
Hard
if you need it.
Yeah.
I also like the symbolism, dark and light and the old world feel of Europe. And I feel like there was one more thing that I was really on board with. I did like the goat game where the girls, they have to look at the goat and its eye gets red. And if they look away, then the devil shows up, and how they played into that. But that also comes to my dislikes too. So I like the game itself. And I feel like had it been put in there a little differently, I would have liked it as a whole. But I liked the thought of it. And I liked how it led to St. Lucy's eyes.
Yes.
And of course, I love it being brought back to the Conjuring series, although I don't know how now they're going to connect Maurice back to the Warrens, although somehow. So I'm assuming there's going to be a Nun 3. I feel like we're set up for it.
Do it.
But definitely the Nun 2, I would say, is much better than the Nun.
Agreed. Wholeheartedly.
I left there and I felt satisfied.
I
with
did
the scares.
too. And then I was so satisfied that I wrote all these notes about this movie. So I must have really liked it. Did extra homework. Extra credit.
Like that. So maybe we should now talk about things that we didn't like so much.
Okay.
So maybe I'll go first on that.
Yeah. Cycle back.
Cycle back. So I didn't like. Here's what I didn't like about the goat. I felt like it was thrown in. So at the goat portion to find St. Lucy's eyes was excellent. And then they made it a real thing. And it was like, okay, is this actually the devil or is this Valak? And if it is Valak, why is Valak splitting her power that way? Like, you're supposed to be defeating Sister Irene and keeping this relic. And meanwhile, you're terrorizing a bunch of girls. Likewise, if it's the devil, I felt like that was just kind of like thrown in there. It didn't really feel super connected.
Did you feel like it was more just for that shock value of making the girls run around and have those moments where you could get speared by
right. So it wasn't like part of the actual fight. It was just a way for the girls and Sister Deborah to be occupied
doing something
while the actual fight was occurring. I needed a better connection there, I think. And I think it could have been done less in a less, what's the word I'm looking for?
Obvious
and
because the goat was in
clunky way.
The goat was in the stained glass window.
Yes, and so Valak like brings fears alive. So I'm thinking it was Valak that did it because the girls were afraid to look away, or the goat would appear as the devil. But then, like, why are you dividing your power? Like, keep it on Sister Irene. Maybe you really could have set her on fire.
I feel like
just a thought.
If you're gonna chase people with something in a horror movie, goat might not have been.
It was like a goat man.
That's what I mean. Like, I feel like goat was not at a level of terror.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I could see the connection. I could see the symbolism, but it was clunky the way it was put in, I think.
I do agree. I think they did that so that the rest of the folks in this boarding school had something to do and that they weren't just peacefully sleeping in their beds while,
that the secondary and tertiary characters were like occupied.
Right. With the goat.
I didn't like Valak being defeated so easily. Like, he just hung out in the air. He, whatever. Valak hung out in the air. And, like, so, okay, you couldn't burn Sister Irene. Well, then, like, you just let them put their hands and pray and, like, nothing. I felt like there was just this, like, moment where Valak wasn't doing anything, and that enabled our protagonist to defeat the demon. And I just felt like, it was almost, like, too easy.
And it wasn't its first time at the rodeo with Sister Irene. I mean, there was already a matchup the last time, although that was Frenchie that stepped in and gave that extra.
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting. So Sister Irene can't really do it all on her own. She needs another body to help her defeat. So just thought of that now.
Like, I think that helps her have her power.
Yeah.
Or have her faith enough to. So those were the two things that I really didn't enjoy about the movie. And I think the ending is clunky, where Maurice was supposed to be possessed and then he wasn't, but maybe now he still is because they want to do another one and it has to connect back to The Conjuring. Mm-hmm. That just felt clunky to me too.
Yeah, sometimes they rush that ending. It's like you do all this great work and then just kids again, it's like you're doing a whole great job and then you forget about the assignment for a little while. Don't rush for the end. Ask for the extension. Make it better. Don't just like hand in terrible work.
Don't crap out at the end. Like end strong. And I felt like this kind of like petered out at the end, and it had been so strong in the middle. So to me that was
I definitely wanted more from the ending. So I agree with that.
And what about you?
No, like exactly not the exact same thing. Right. What she said. There.
No, well, you didn't like that it wasn't humorous.
Well, no, because like that's kind of just more my thing. Like, I mean, there were jump scares. I'll give you that. I didn't feel like they were incredible. Sorry, I didn't feel like they were scary enough. Do I have to apologize for my?
No,
I don't think. I don't.
You have to be honest because hopefully we're reaching a broad audience, and like someone's going to disagree with
this. Just wasn't my jam. I like you said, I feel like they wrapped it up. They were like, coming upon 2 hours, and that's it. Thank you for visiting. And the demon was just like, see you later. That was weird. They found, to me, they found the eyes too quickly. Like they were like, oh, there's this thing in the eyes, and then that, and then like dig eyes. Like
and there was like the laser pointer.
Yeah, I mean that was weird. Right and also like I kind of wanted to see the eyes. Like and also like are they preserved? Like what do the eyes look like?
I was wondering,
gross me out a little bit at least.
Or
you know what I mean? Like gross me out a little bit.
The eyes, I was curious to see too. I mean, like relics kind of creep me out in general, but those are legit things that you can go and see, like little bits of flesh from saints and stuff like that. So yeah,
for sure. Let's do something there. I feel like they missed the mark there. I mean, like just and like for me, I just felt like, well, maybe because I didn't see the first one. I feel like
looking at me because I yelled at him.
I just feel like it was I had a lot of questions, which I won't bring up all of them, but I sort of was just like, and like listening to you describe what you felt as well, just like, why did that all happen so quickly? Why was that all so easy? And you're right, they did have to do something with the other characters, but again, like Goat was not doing it for me. But yeah, I felt like they did rush the ending, and I feel like they could have definitely delved into that a little bit more. Yeah.
I'm pretty much in agreement with everything that you all said, because for me, that the nun is so scary. When she's on the scene, I just want to be scared all the time. So I feel like to be defeated so quickly at the end like that, shortchanged a little bit. Like I wanted to see her do more. I wanted to see her fight back. And it's really funny because when I refer to Valak, I do say he, and then the nun, it's she. So that's, who knows why. Some questions that I had at the end were just like, okay, Frenchie, like still possessed, right? So what's going on there? He goes off with like the family, like the mom and her daughter. So I'm like, oh great. So he's still got problems, and now they got problems too. The other thing that I was a little disappointed with, and this is just a stupid thing that I'm bringing up at the very beginning of the movie. I'm a French teacher, right? So at the very beginning, it says, where were they at? They were in, I can't remember the name of I probably wrote it down somewhere, but 1956 France, we'll say. And I thought that they were going to use the French language with subtitles, but they didn't. They just had like French accents. I was like, well, this is really dumb. Like, why aren't they just using French? We can read subtitles. But then I found out that the whole film was set in France. So we were not there to see a foreign film. We were there to watch an American English movie. So, whoops.
Yeah. I mean, I would have read the subtitles, but I think a lot of people who go see horror movies would not have.
Yeah, don't worry.
Right. I
Not
totally
with
wanted it for that
subtitles.
little part there with like the priest and the boy, but then I didn't realize that the whole dang thing was going to be in France. So then I was like, oh,
Yeah,
I get it.
makes more sense.
Why was she trusting Maurice so fast? You know what I'm saying? Like, she's letting her be around her kid already. He was literally just possessed like a minute ago. And now she's like...
And that also brings up, like, Sister Irene. Okay, so Valak's already tricked you once by staying in Maurice. You think she wouldn't have been like, oh, bye, have a great
Yeah,
life.
it's like you got
She
to
would
do
have
the
been
double
like,
tap, right?
Right? Like, get some holy water.
Yeah.
Like,
But like, girl's
Christ,
mom
Christ.
is who... You know who I'm talking about? The little girl's
Oh,
mom.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, she was
she's
totally
just
like...
oh, let's go be a happy family now.
Yeah.
You
Oh.
just had a demon in you.
I remember what the other thing is that I liked. I liked Maurice's possession. So a lot of times when people are possessed, it's like over the top, but his was like creepy, almost stillness. Like he would get possessed and all of a sudden it would be like click, click, click. And
Yeah.
like, just
Or,
like,
standing in a corner,
and,
like
not
talking to the
looking.
wall.
Yeah.
yeah, and doing
Like
like
very
weird
Blair
movements
Witch.
or weird noises. And like, it was very, I feel like understated. And that's what made it scarier to
Mhm.
me. That's what I liked.
I like
his
that.
possession.
I also am remembering now because I just talked about the Blair Witch. I think one of the reasons why I thought the goat, the whatever, was so creepy was another movie, The Witch, totally not related. But there was like, what was his name?
goat
Black
was the
Phillip.
devil. Yeah.
And the goat's the devil. And I think that movie messed me up good. That was like a slow burn, a thinker afterwards.
Psychological.
So I feel like I was still harboring some fear from that, and that made that part scarier in The Nun for me. But as we're talking, yeah, that goat running around was just ridiculous.
It just
at the
it felt
end.
disjointed.
Yeah.
Like
They
I'm
could have
sorry,
just
but
been chasing... Sorry. They could have
No,
just
yeah.
been chasing a puppy. You know what I mean? Like, they could have just been like, this puppy is escaping. We need to bring the house puppy back. And it would have been as enjoyable.
Or
well,
they
I
Maybe
mean,
not.
I liked some of the fear of it, like the jumps there, but it, I think it needed to be more cohesive. And Valak, like maybe next time you'll win if you consolidate your power and focus on who you're supposed to be defeating instead of just trying to scare everybody.
Or if they really needed somebody to chase them, that Madame Laurent had died in the course of the movie. So they actually showed her like back from the dead
Ghost,
for a
yeah.
second. So why couldn't she have just been, I don't know, would have given them something to do without the goat.
Did you bring up the fact that Valak gave up so easily too? Couldn't set
I didn't in the beginning, but
sister
then
on fire and
I
then was
couldn't
like,
agree more. Like,
Okay.
I feel like
Can't light this fire. I'm
yeah,
done.
she will not light. Okay.
maybe he had jet lag from traveling. I don't know.
Or like trying to scare everyone at once. He
I-
like took that relic and then just like petered it out in a few minutes.
But
I don't
Demon
know.
was busy because remember, he was like blazing a trail. I mean, throughout Europe. So by the time he
I
got,
feel like the exposition and the rising action were so great, and the climax when Valak got the eyes, I was like, "Oh, what's gonna happen now?" And then the
Oh, yeah.
falling action and the resolution / denouement
denouement
was really that is what kind of killed it for me.
Also about the eyes, that poor Sophie, she worked so hard to she was literally hanging from buildings that were falling down at this part because they were in full on chaos. And then she just lost them back to Valak at the end. It's like, oh, I took so long to get these. And I protected these eyes and I hid them. And then
like
Maurice
I
was
tripped over
chasing
a
and I
rock or
tripped over a
something.
rock and they fell and then, oh, got the eyes. But,
Yeah, well, that's a trope, but yeah, I mean,
yes. Oh my God.
honestly,
But I still loved it. I still really enjoyed this movie.
especially compared to The Nun.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't have high hopes for this one because Allie and I went and saw The Nun together when it came out in theaters, and we had such high hopes because we loved The Conjuring, and it was such a disappointment. So we went in there with we were hoping it would be great, but we had very low expectations. So that might have something to do with my
Nun
grading.
is creepy. Like when
Yes.
boom, she's at the end of the hallway. You take your eyes off. Oh my gosh, she's right there.
And in The Conjuring
So
too,
good.
when her outline walks across the wall
Yeah.
behind the picture that Ed Warren has
Yes.
painted and then comes out,
I forgot
that
about the
is
painting.
freaking creepy as all get out. And they set it up so well in this one, and then the ending. But let's talk about the grade that we're going to give this movie.
Okay.
Melissa, you want to start
Yeah,
us off?
unpopular opinion. C- on a curve.
Okay,
Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
gave some bonus points.
that was very nice
That's-
of you.
I just
Very
gave
nice
them
of you.
too. I don't have anything to base that on. Like
Oh.
I just tossed
Well,
them.
what if you didn't have a bonus point? C, D, D plus.
No. So we go down, right? So like, yeah, D plus. I
D
mean,
plus.
and I think it's mainly just because it wasn't my type of movie. It
No,
just
that's okay.
it wasn't, and I would have known that if I'd have seen the original Nun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Allie, you want me to go? You go.
Go ahead, you go.
Okay. I gave this one a B-, which for me, I'm a very hard grader, if you watched our first episode. But really what did it for me were those jump scares, because I just was creeped out when I left that theater. And, I walk my dog at night time, like in the morning, it's still dark. And so there are like noises and I'm like, oh, what was that?
For real?
Phallic.
okay.
I mean, I don't really think it's phallic, but like, yeah,
No, yeah.
there's like a little suspense.
Boo! It's Valak.
Yeah.
Is Valak behind me?
Is it the Nun? I still do that. I told you I walk up my stairs and I still look behind me when I'm carrying laundry. I'm definitely gonna fall down the stairs someday.
Please
And it's
don't.
gonna be. I'm gonna try not to, but like I'm always like, what's wrong with me?
I did that as a kid. I mean, my parents would let me watch like Friday the 13th and all that stuff when I was very young. And so my sister and I, whenever we would have to go anywhere in the dark, would run. So
Yeah.
like bathroom, run.
Oh yeah, I do that
Yeah.
too.
Back
Oh,
to bed, run.
And my
But,
closets have to be
Melissa,
closed.
I-
Stephen King it.
I still do that.
Oh my gosh, really? The Nun made you do that?
No.
No,
The
just
Nun
like,
too?
like
Years of horror
and decades of
movies.
being terrorized.
No, but like
and loving it.
you were worried while walking Boo after the Nun.
I mean, like just like something jumping out and scaring me.
Okay.
Like that kind of a, I don't really think it's Valak coming to get me.
most of
but
the time
just
it's
like-
a squirrel or a rabbit, but still, it's
Right?
just like the
Or
jump
like-
scare.
Could be
Yeah.
possessed.
Right.
We
Wasn't
don't know.
expecting it.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting
The
it.
rabbit could be possessed.
Honest.
Well, there's probably a horror movie for that.
Yep.
We'll find it.
We got to give your grade.
Okay,
Sorry,
so
my
my
suspense here.
grade, originally I had A-, but thinking about it, I really don't understand why they had Demon Goat Man in the movie, and I'm gonna retract it to like maybe a B+, because I feel like there could have been more time spent there in a final battle scene.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, but this is why you should confer with others, and sometimes you got to revise and review. So B+.
All right. So B+, B-, D+.
Yeah.
So that would be what, like a C+? Is that what
I mean, I didn't do the
out
math,
to?
but that sounds right? My grade, your grade goes to a C.
Definitely. Well, yeah, and then hers would bring it up a bit.
I didn't
Yeah.
check the Rotten Tomatoes
C,
on this
C+?
one.
Yeah, we
You-
forgot to do that.
Oh,
Anybody have their phone?
I do.
Check it.
Okay.
I'm phoneless.
I'm like
We're
the
gonna check
kids in
Rotten
class. I
Tomatoes
kept my
and see.
phone. Let's check
Note
Rotten
that she didn't
Tomatoes.
take it out while any of us were talking, though.
This is true. I was involved in the conversation.
While we're doing that, if you're interested in more demon possession, there's a movie on Prime Video.
Okay.
I think it's free. Might be $2.99. It's called Nefarious. Have you heard of this?
Ooh, I haven't, but
I feel like I
wait.
saw that,
Did
but
I
I
see
could have
that?
just.
It's about a man that committed, I don't know if it's a serial killer, but he definitely murdered.
Nefarious acts.
So he definitely killed some people.
Okay.
And then he's
What
on
does it-
death row, and they are determining if he is mentally stable enough to be executed. So they bring in a shrink and all that, and
Does it have does it give Silence of the Lambs a little bit?
no, it's
Like,
not that
in terms
good.
of the
It's all over the place.
Ooh,
I
it
feel
is all
like.
over this. The tomato meter is a 50%. So critics agree that it's scarier than its predecessor. However, the audience score is a 73, so we're pretty much like right there.
Yeah,
with
we're
the
about a
pulse.
C too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that for me overall, I just loved the casting so much, and like I
Mhm.
said, that narrative of like the mother spirit, a female entity, like being the protector and the one that kicks butt at the end. I probably delved into the symbolism a little bit more,
Yeah.
but yeah, the bare bones of it, like that demon at the end there, could have just But a B plus, I stand by it. I stand by it.
I stand by
I'd
that
see it
too.
again too. I would watch it if it came
Oh,
on a
absolutely.
rainy day.
I'd watch it again.
I think when it comes out, what we
And
should
will.
do is a Conjuring Universe Day.
Yes,
Yeah,
the
so-
Conjuring Universe Day.
I think I need to go Nun 1.
I
Nun
think you need
2.
to do Conjuring
Sure.
1, Conjuring 2, Nun 1, Nun 2. And there
And
are others.
then
Then we could do a different day that's all about Annabelle.
Annabelle. Ooh, can't wait for that to revisit.
She's the creepy doll.
Yeah, she's
Yep.
also from the Conjuring universe.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she comes out of the display case, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So you're down for Annabelle, right?
Wait.
Annabelle's totally different, like different
Annabelle's-
vibes.
I
Annabelle-
saw The Conjuring. Wait, I think I did.
Chloe made an impression.
Wait, hold on. The Conjuring. I did see it. Annabelle, was she in it? Like she was chilling in the background somewhere.
Yeah, she's in there like
She's in there
Den
like
of
curio.
Den of
demons.
Curio. Yeah,
She's in their curio
Yeah.
cabinet.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did see it.
Okay.
Okay. I gotta
Yeah,
start
alright.
over. I got this. I was seeing them isolated.
Yeah. That's
They
the
all you can watch them isolated, but I think they all do work
You
together.
can't just
too.
walk up and watch the Goblet of Fire, and I think that's what I did.
Like, well,
Harry Potter, you're not.
I,
Anyway, Okay.
Sorry.
I'm familiar with the Goblet of Fire. I have issues. Just it's a hair thing with Harry. I can't stand his hair in that movie. I have problems. Anyway,
I feel like that's like a low bar, but you
Right?
do you, girl. Whatever.
His hair was not vibing.
it's just he's all over the place. His
He
hair's
was
always messed
not.
up. He's just not with it. He's just with it.
Allie has problems with Harry's
It's his
hair.
quaff.
Harry's
his quaff
hair.
in the movie.
and his overall just grossness.
Hairiness.
Well, if you're still with us, we super appreciate you. And thanks for watching. I feel like we're going to get better every time we do this. We're on a learning curve here. We enjoy scary movies, and we hope you do too. And we hope you enjoyed this. So please hit the subscribe, leave comments. We'll come back, talk to you. We're trying to get it out on more platforms. But again, we're learning as we're going. You know, as a teacher, you're a life learner. So
yeah, you could even comment what feeds you follow. If you prefer like Spotify, Apple, whatever, just let us know, and
we'll try to get out there. And our third episode, we are going to be The Exorcist, The Believer, right? The Believer.
Do I have to do anything before then?
We don't, I haven't, unless you've never seen The Exorcist, in which case, get out now.
That's the one where her head flies around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
So
cross.
I'm super
Yes.
excited for Exorcist,
It's
The
gonna be
Believer.
great.
Like, The Exorcist is one of the bottom portions of my pyramid of terror.
Yeah.
And like horror and why I love horror movies so much. So the fact that the mom is coming back, and just the cast and like if you've seen any of the
trailers,
trailers,
previews, yeah.
yes, it looks phenomenal. So my expectations are sky high for that one. I'm really excited to see it.
I'm excited too.
And as long as the characters have good hygiene, you'll be fine.
I was gonna say, sorry, Daniel Radcliffe. I love you, Harry Potter.
Right,
I
that was
do,
a lot.
Truly, it was a lot.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll do some professional development
Okay.
beforehand. I did
Yeah.
a PD day.
Well, for
PD of terror.
We Are Teachers, You Can't Scare Us. I'm Gwenna.
I'm Melissa.
I'm Allie.
And thanks for joining us. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.